Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
I love every time we get together with them because you never know what's going to happen, what's going to come up. She's a psychic medium. They both are intuitive, whether one of them wants to believe it or not. And we're going to do readings today. Instantfeedbacksteve@gmail.com if you want to check in. We've got Shannon Dee Sees Things and her cousin Jen joining us today. Ladies, how you doing?
We're doing good. Good.
You moved it up here. Now you're in different parts of the country. Shannon, you're in Virginia, right?
Yeah, I'm visiting my brother. Yeah, just for a little bit. Yeah, I'll be back home this weekend.
I gotta love Zoom. You can do it from anywhere. Jen, where are you hiding out?
Pennsylvania.
In Pennsylvania. So
Yep.
you missed last week, Jen, because
Yes.
you're away. When fabulous reading was done for somebody who called in, but I realized that last weekend, going into the weekend, I was meeting my half sister for the first time. I've just found Ancestry.com.
Oh, how'd that go?
A few months ago. Went fantastic. But here's the thing. I just, in passing, threw it out to Shannon. I'm like, yeah, you get anything on this? And she said, yeah. And we share the same father. My father passed away when I was 21. My half sister's mom passed away 11 years ago. Never wanted to talk about it. I don't even know if my dad knew. And I said, I threw it out there. So Shannon says, this is going to be a great connection for you. You guys are definitely going to gel together. Your dad wants this. And with all respect, Shannon, love you, but kind of generic. Anybody could say that. I'm skeptical, even with friends and, whatever. But then Shannon says, what's up with the Jeep and your half sister? And I'm like, I don't know. So I text her while we were on. And she texts me back. She goes, oh, yeah, my mom had a Jeep before she passed away.
Oh, how about that?
Yeah, how about
that? There we go. That's awesome.
Like, if there's any validation, like, there you go. And that wasn't even a full reading. That was just we got a minute. What are you getting? And that was it. We were done.
Yeah, it could be any car. It's a Jeep.
Thank you. And it was her mom's. And when I saw her last weekend, my half sister, I brought this up again, and she says, yeah. And you know what? My mom had gotten ill before she passed away, and I would be driving her Jeep.
Oh, wow.
Okay. All right, there.
That's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
It's look at Shannon. Like, yeah, that's what I do. Don't worry about it.
I know. She's like, duh. I don't know why you don't listen to me.
Yeah, let's move on.
I do that to her too, Steve. I sometimes don't believe what she's telling me either. And then I'm like, why? Why do I not? I know that.
My response is, don't ask me. I'm just the medium.
Yes, but it's, I am I've been connected to psychic mediums over the years. And I would even question it. Like, all right, go a little bit deeper. What else you got? What else you got? And I've done that by the way, reset. I've never done that with any of them as deep as I've done it with Shannon. And I did it with my aunt weeks ago. And I've even told other people this, that, she pulled my aunt in right away, described her to a T. No one has ever done that. And then I remember saying, yeah. And she mentioned something about her house. And I said to Shannon, yeah, what's that house look like? Come on, give me that. And she got it. It's like, cool.
I know, down to how many blades of grass were in the lawn, right?
I didn't ask that. I was afraid. So we're gonna read Lindsay today. Lindsay, can you hear us?
I sure can.
Oh, beautiful. Say hi to Shannon and Jen.
Hey,
Lindsay.
hi, Jen.
How are you, Lindsay?
Doing good. How are you guys?
Good. Okay, so who do you want me to bring forward today?
I'm looking to connect with my father-in-law,
Your father-in-law? Okay, and what's his first and last name?
Jim Stevens.
Okay, all right. All right. Was he somebody that was handy? Was he able to, like, I keep seeing in bricks and things? Was he handy? Was he able to like build things and make things?
I wouldn't necessarily like that wouldn't be my first choice of words for him. I mean, he could if he put his mind to it, but I wouldn't say that was his like thing.
Right. It wasn't his bailiwick, but he could. Was he good with numbers and things? Because I keep seeing him with like paper with numbers. He's writing down numbers and things. What is it with numbers with him?
Yeah, I would say he was like pretty smart. I don't know of a numbers connection for him.
Okay. What did he do for a living that I'm seeing him with papers and things? Did he deliver things? What did he do for a living?
He was when I knew him, he was like a manager for like quality control for a company that sold medical devices.
Okay. And he really liked that. Was he like a mayor? Like when he passed, did like everybody come to his funeral?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So everybody came. Okay. And uh did he pass in an unusual way?
He was very sick.
Yeah. And he was not one to go to the doctors. And then when he went, he really like it was like really shocking because was he a golfer or he was just always out and about and he like it was a shock when he got sick.
Yeah, it was pretty shocking. He wasn't a golfer, but he was very active. He was a triathlete.
Okay, because I see him out and about like always doing things. So and when he got sick, he just was just always doing things. Um was he was close to your husband, but did he also have a daughter?
No, yes, he was close to my husband, but they didn't have a daughter.
They did not.
No.
Okay. Was there another child other than your husband?
Yeah, my husband has a brother.
A brother. Was it his wife? Um, I feel like when he passed, there may have been some issues with things with the way that his wife was taken care of.
Um,
Like with
Not immediately after he passed, but I would say that there was a bit of a rift in the family,
yes.
probably a year after he passed.
Okay. And so you know what I'm talking about when I
Mhm.
say
Yeah,
where it was coming from, and I'm not going to say that online, but you know what I'm
yeah,
talking about and where. Okay, so
yeah,
now I'm going to pass by that, but you know what I'm talking about. Okay,
yeah,
um, he is. You know that he really adores you, right?
I do.
The love that I feel in my chest. It feels like a fireman's bag under my chest. The love and the pride that I feel for you and for your husband. Um, has your husband been doing something new lately, or has he gotten some kind of a either a new job or has he been moved into a new position?
Um, just a couple weeks ago, he did get a promotion, still within the same position, but yes, he's been recognized. And
Good, because this new position, this is going to be great for him. Your husband is going to just keep going and going and going. Jim wants him to keep elevating himself, and he's going to be there every step of the way for your husband. He wants to always make sure that his grandchildren are taken care of. Do you have children yet? Do you have two little ones?
I have one right now.
Okay, a second one is coming for you. So don't be surprised if you don't see a second one in the next 6 to 8 months. You're going to see a second one, and I think this one's going to be a boy. So don't be surprised when you see that second one. I keep hearing February, so either you'll be pregnant by February or just around that time. Something about February is what I'm hearing with a baby. Okay. So don't be shocked. I've had 3 wins this week with people telling me, and all 3 of them pregnancy tests and everything. I knew before the father did.
Right.
So,
Lindsay, start sleeping now. Start
yeah.
looking at yourself now.
Exactly.
Do you have any questions for him at all?
I am curious if he's hanging around here.
Absolutely. Have you noticed some unusual things happening, like little things moving? I see things with keys and metal things that are moving. And I see something with a clock. What's going on with a clock and some lights? I think they're hi-hats in the kitchen. Have you noticed that?
Actually, just on Monday, the lights flickered in our kitchen, which is very unusual. We never ever like lose power.
Mhm.
And then metal is interesting because when he passed, we had some people give us wind chimes that like the middle part is in honor of him. And so they
Mhm.
hang on our porch. And so we think of him when they blow, but I'm convinced my son is seeing things.
How young is your son?
He's 20 months.
That's about the time that they're going to see things. So is he talking to somebody that you guys can't see? He'll be in his room and you're hearing him chatter away.
He does chatter away in his room, but I don't know if it's like to anybody, but I will say that he is constantly waving to somebody. Even when we're in the room with him, like he waves at this one corner all the time and like always eyes on that corner. Or like anytime we're outside, he's pointing at the wind chimes saying grandma, which is what he calls his wife. And I don't know if he knows like the word grandpa, but what's also interesting is like he was only 6 weeks old when my father-in-law passed. And like we'll show pictures of like the whole family and we'll be like, who's this? And he knows everyone's name and we get to him and he says, Pop Pop.
Yeah.
I mean, he's 6 months old when he passed.
He knows who he is. Definitely. I have goosebumps. He knows who he is. Is this son in any way named after Jim? First name, middle name?
His middle name is James.
Okay. He will always watch over him. He's like a second guardian angel. Anytime a loved one is named after somebody, a first name, even a middle name, a confirmation name, they will always watch over them. So he will be your child's guardian angel for the rest of his life. So I have zero doubt, like literally no doubt, that your child not only is seeing him, but he's being watched over by Jim, and he will be for the rest of his life. And so the fact that he knows who he is, he's probably talking to him and giving him messages for his wife. And that's why he's saying grandmom. He's probably saying that he loves grandma, and he's giving messages because Jim wants to make sure that she is loved and that he is sending her messages of love. And I keep seeing, would he bring her special, um, like whole things of flowers and candy and stuff on certain holidays? Like, would he go pick up?
He would pick up flowers.
Yeah, that's why I keep seeing a whole bushel of flowers, like, like you'd go pick up at either the grocery store or you go pick up at the flower shop. I keep seeing whole bushels of flowers. Um, and he keeps sending them to grandma. And so he's bringing them in front of her. So she might see them on TV, or she might walk into a store that they otherwise aren't normally there, and she might be seeing whole things of flowers that you would put in vases. These are coming from Jim to remind her that he's still around and he's sending her that love. So it isn't one particular flower, it's whole things of flowers, just like he used to bring her. Just tell her that he loves her.
Awesome.
All right. And and I keep seeing a box of gold chocolate. I think is that Godiva chocolate. Does that make sense at all?
The only thing I can think is my husband would always bring home these boxes of chocolate that was wrapped in orange wrapping paper that we wouldn't eat, so we would always give them to him.
Yeah, and he's saying thank you for that. So you'll see chocolate, but I think he's sending them in gold packages because he said you deserve better.
Okay.
So you're going to see those. You're going to see those Godiva chocolates, and they're going to come from him, and he's going to say thank you for that. So your son is going to have. I'm thinking it's going to be a brother. And for some reason I'm seeing February. And your husband's going to keep climbing the ladder. Does somebody have a white car? You or your husband?
My brother-in-law's wife does. My sister-in-law does.
Okay. Is it newer?
New to them, yeah.
Okay. He thinks that's a good choice for her. He's telling me to tell her to slow down. Because
Okay.
she drives a little bit too fast. So tell her to slow down because she's going to get another ticket.
Okay.
So tell her to slow down. And he's saying the most thing you could do is tell everybody that he loves them, and the family needs to he says that the rift can be fixed. If I see a chasm wall, like a brick wall with a big black hole in it, that means it'll never be fixed. But he's doing a sign with two fingers pointing together, the two index fingers. When I see that, it means it can be fixed and that it should be fixed. So I think he should reach out to his brother and leave the wives out of it and let the brothers mend their fences first. Because I think it was started by not anyone that it should have been started with, and let the brothers mend their fences first because he wants to see the family back together, especially for the sake of his wife and everybody else. So he wants to see that mended.
Okay.
So he wants your husband to ask his brother to go out for a drink, go out to the bar, for a dinner or something and work things through because those two love each other very much. They might be a little bit different, but they have a lot more sameness than they do differences. Let them work things out and everything else will come to follow.
Good to know. Thank you.
Yep.
Lindsay, what do you think so far?
Yeah, I mean, I think that this all definitely describes my family. I think, hearing from him that, the family should be back together for their mom is definitely the message I expected him to send. So I'm not surprised at all.
Anything stand out where there is maybe even a little a surprise like, wow, that's interesting. I mean, remains to be seen about the baby on the way. Get sleep now. But any of the other things that she brought up?
Well, to the baby, it's funny she says a boy because the joke in our family is that the Stevens men have not produced a female in probably 60 years.
Wow.
Don't see that happening anytime soon.
So it was, surprising. There's still no girls yet to break that trend. But yeah, I mean, I think it's all awesome.
Like I hear the chocolate thing, and anybody could say, yeah, I send you chocolate, whatever. Chocolate's very popular, lots of people like it, but the gold connection, kind of stood out for me.
It's the chocolate he would get was from a supplier, and it was always wrapped in this bright orange wrapping paper, and we wouldn't even unwrap it because we're like, we don't eat these, we'll just give it to them. And so probably once a month we would just come over and put 2 boxes of orange wrapped chocolates on their counter for them. So that was definitely an interesting connection.
Seriously so. Wow.
Yeah.
Any final questions, Lindsay?
No, I don't think so. Thank you very much.
Cool. Thank you. Thanks for giving us the opportunity to do a reading for you. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you, Lindsay.
Wow. Interesting. Shannon, what blows you away? Is there anything even within there where you're like, whoa, this one's higher level? There's a lot of things that I see as validation connections within there, but is there anything for you? It's like, well, there's a little peak right there. There's a little peak right there.
The thing that I couldn't say.
Oh, that's always
Sometimes
the best ones. Right?
that's always the best things. The things that I get that I can't say.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to upset anybody. But it was funny because she knew exactly what she knew exactly
the riff you're talking about.
Yeah, she knew
Okay.
exactly what I was talking about, and yeah, and that was funny because I don't I don't know her, so she picked up on exactly what I was talking about, and it was like, okay, and I started to get into it, and he was like, be careful, and I was like, oh, here we go, and I
Yeah.
was like, oh, dagger through my heart. I got to be careful what I say here.
Yeah, you don't filter often, but when you do, I guess it's very clear to you. It's got to be
Mhm.
off the table. Jen, how about
Yeah.
you in
Oh, I
watching it?
I was gonna say I can totally relate to her baby seeing her father-in-law. When my father-in-law passed away, we had so many crazy things happen, and my oldest son, I know he could see him to the point where I was like, okay, Bill, you can keep coming, but I don't want to see you because I'll pass out. Like, do what you gotta do. But and it lasted for probably a good 2 years before he stopped. And to the point where my husband changed, the doorbell, or, the garage door would go up and down by itself. So we changed that, and it still would happen. The same time that I got a phone call, he would pass away, these things would happen.
Wow.
I was at work the one day and the radio turned off the time I got the phone call, and everybody's like, oh, there's Jen's ghost. Crazy stuff.
If you're
But he
aware,
totally could see him.
if you're aware of those things, you can put them together, and it's not like we're just looking to put them together. Like in Lindsay's situation, Shannon, you referenced something, and she said, "Yeah, the lights flickered the other day, and that normally doesn't happen."
Right.
Could it be random? Maybe, but there's more around it to validate it. I remember, I don't know, I share with you New Year's Eve. I put on my father's watch. I hadn't even seen it in decades. I was going out. I'm like, let me, put on a better watch. And it was one they gave him at work, 20 years of service. And I look and it's 7-Eleven. I'm like, oh,
Oh
and
my gosh, that's your
and
number.
it was 7-Eleven at the time I put it on to go out for New Year's Eve. And then I let it go, got dressed or whatever. And I looked down, I'm like, oh, it's now, 7:42. It still says, oh, it's not running. I thought it was running. Weird. Sometimes they have the self-winding watches, right? I don't know what kind of watch it
Yeah.
was. And then I later remembered that he passed away on July 11th. And it was like,
Yeah.
But if I
Wow.
wasn't mindful of that, I believe he was sending something, like just trying to, hey, I'm here, Happy New Year, whatever. Well, I don't even know, what the message is, but if we watch for those things, it's going to come clear. Same thing with the baby, as parents, when they're 20 months old or whatever, we're not mindful of it. But if your kid is staring in a certain direction, maybe they're seeing something, right?
And I
Yeah.
feel like if someone passes away suddenly, they want to come back and let you know, I'm
They're
okay, I'm here.
Yeah.
That's what happened in our situation. So I totally think that's why he was coming through all the time.
Wow.
Yeah, I agree.
My dad passed suddenly, and I didn't even think about that. I didn't even
Yeah.
think about
Yeah.
that. I mean, years later, but wow. Super cool. Great reading. Fun. It's like
Yeah.
I could just sit back here and be the fly on the wall. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
all right. Yeah.
Well, yeah. And I like that I was specific that I said the kitchen lights. And she was like, and it was
Yes.
the kitchen light. And I said metal. And
Yeah.
it was the chimes. So a lot of times they'll tell me it's chimes, but this time they didn't tell me chimes. And I think it's just the brevity because it's a lot different reading on air. Because Jen will tell you it takes me a little bit longer because we play that red light, green light game when I'm reading in person. So, to have to, because the folks that want to be read, a lot of them, like, today, I don't really know Lindsay. So, the people that they're giving me, I don't know, I'm not familiar with. and to get a name and have to pull them instantaneously is much harder than it is in real life. It's a lot of pressure, and
we have.
I'm thrilled.
Yeah, you were like
we're not editing.
Rapid fire. Yeah,
we're not editing this out, so it's really hard. It's a lot of pressure.
I never thought of that, because
Yeah.
we are at a time, and it's like you got to get it done and out of the way. Whereby when you do a reading with somebody, it could be an hour. You can kind of take your time, and it's not like you're waiting for cues from somebody, but you're just kind of chilling back and seeing what comes in, so you can deliver the information. Shannon, how do we? I'm sorry, I asked Jen.
Oh, no, you got to ask Jen. Don't ask me.
Jen is her people. Get in touch with her people, and Jen's great. Jen's great people too. How do we make the connection if somebody wants to get a reading from Shannon?
So you can look for us on Facebook or Instagram. Look for Shannon Dee Sees Things. And if you would like a reading or a Zoom call, you can call me at 215-680-7693, and I will set you up.
Super cool.
And if you want a reading on live, just join on our Facebook group and just jump on the thread and say, hey, I want to be read on any of the readings, and I'll reach out to you and we'll get you scheduled.
Thank you for today. That was great. It really was.
It was fun. It was fun today.
It was so fast.
I know.
It was.
We're actually approaching overtime now. So
Yeah.
But whatever.
Yeah.
The lights are going to start flickering, and that's their sign to shut up.
Get out.
Thanks. Have a great weekend. We'll talk soon. Okay.
All right.
All
Talk
right.
soon.
Yeah,
See you guys. Bye.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.